Universities and programs no longer look at the combined score. They look at specifically the component scores. How well did you do in your quant? How well did you do in the verbal? And what were your respective percentiles? That's where they tend to spend a lot more time. So to determine whether or not you have a good score, you need to understand what the percentiles were of those individual components, the scores that you got. And secondly, the averages of those particular two scores that's part of the incoming class to your program. And universities publish that data, so you can absolutely compare and check to see how you have done relative to your seniors who have just started that program. A percentile, just by the definition, just means the percentage of test takers who took that test but scored lower than your score. So the higher your percentile, the better your score is and the more competitive that you are. When we look at some of the data that was published by ETS, ETS stands for Educational Testing Services, that's the company that proctors the GRE tests. This data was published in 2018. They've looked at 1.7 million users and their scores, and what they found is the average is 150 for verbal and 153 for quant. But notice the standard deviation, it is 8 and 9 points respectively. What that means is there's significant variability in that score. And so you have users that have done exceptionally well, and you have students that have done not so great. But where you also start to see some trends, a verbal percentile for a given score is much higher than the quant percentile. So as an example, if we look at a score of 160 in verbal, that equates to roughly 86th percentile. But that same score of 160 in quant, it's only 73rd percentile. What this means is students tend to do better in the quant, which is why for that given score it's a lower percentile, versus verbal, where for a given score it's a higher percentile.